All right. Hey guys, it's Violet. You might be wondering, what is all this? Well, this pile of components has something in common with the Quest 3S. That being, it costs $300. So, what do we have here? Well, let's start with the big thing. We've got a Dell XPS 8920. This is a GeForce GTX 1660. This is a 256 gigabyte SSD. And that is an Oculus Rift CV1. So, let's get all this stuff put together. Now, I bought this Dell XPS off of eBay. If I can figure out how to open it, or how to... Oh, you pull it. Does this, like... I see. Okay. That was a little embarrassing, but... So, how do you... Oh, I see. So you unlock that, and then lift that up. Okay. So there's only one thing that we really, or two things we really need to do in here, which are we need to install our graphics card, which we have right here. Like I said before, this is a GTX 1660 gigabyte overclocked version. Not that that's super important. Yeah, that just goes right in. And we'll get our SSD freed from its packaging. I didn't get anything too crazy. It's just a 240 gig. Did I say 256 before? It's a 240 SATA SSD. And actually, now that I think about it, there is something I probably should have done. This thing came with an Optane thing in it, which probably won't play nice with our SATA SSD. One moment. Alright, got the Optane stick out. And while I was in there, I also replaced the CMOS battery. You don't need to do that. I just happened to have one on hand. And sometimes those things are dead in used computers. If you have the money to get one, I'd recommend doing so, but you don't need to. Even if the CMOS battery's dead, it just means that your clock's going to reset every time you lose power, and your post might take a little bit longer. None of that is really the end of the world. We're not going to hard mount this, we're just going to shove it into the caddy. With SSDs, it doesn't really matter. I forgot to put the fucking graphics card back in. Okay. There we go. So the PC side of things is pretty much done. Just needs Windows. As soon as I figure out how to put this side panel back on. There we go. So our PC is ready to go. I just realized I don't really have anything to hook it up to. Give me a minute. Alright, just a little update here. We have the setup here going. I've got a keyboard and mouse and a TV. And I am making a Windows 11 installer with Rufus. It's very important when using hardware like this Dell XPS that you do use Rufus, because this computer does not have TPM 2.0 because it's got a 7th Gen i7. It's still good enough for PCVR, but it doesn't technically meet the requirements for Windows 11, so you do need to use Rufus to make the installer so that you can actually install it, because Microsoft by default bakes it in so that you can't install on a machine without TPM2. But it'll work fine. So yeah, that's what we're doing here. You know what? While we're waiting for that, why don't we get a look at our VR headset? So, I don't think I've actually gone over prices yet. I'm getting rid of these cases. This thing is nasty, by the way, but it was also very cheap, so it's hard to complain. Hold up. It's about to be like, hold on, are these... I thought they were rechargeables. No, they're Kirkland batteries, which I've never seen before because I don't really shop at Costco. But yeah, here's one of our controllers, decased. And we've got one, two... Oh, I just knocked the other controller out. 3 of the Constellation sensor cameras. So, this is actually a room scale setup. Here we've got another crummy case on our controller. Get that all off. And get that... Oh! I see why there was a, You know what? I am gonna use the, I will be using the thumbstick caps, or at least one of them, because the center of this thumbstick is missing. That's something. But let's worry about that later, because I dropped one of those under my bed. Here's our headset, which is in beautiful condition. Whoever owned this definitely had cats, because this thing reeks of cat litter. This tether is fucking cooked, dude. What the hell? Does this thing even work? I knew from the pictures that this was going to be heavily used, but I did not realize just how bad it was. I'm going to go clean this off camera. Alright, after a bit of time and more than a bit of isopropanol, I think I'm comfortable having this thing sharing a zip code with my face. So, next up, we're going to have to see if it still works, because that tether is in a condition. So, I'm going to go get my laptop, and I'm going to hook this up and see if it works. So yes, the headset does work, and now we're going to get into Beat Saber, and I think you'll see from the footage here that we are actually getting some quite good performance. But I'm not going to talk too much over this because, you know, it's a rhythm game, it's music. Enjoy.
So to show something a little heavier for Beat Saber, we're going to do a noodle chart. I would have done Vivify, but I didn't have it in the pre-made installation that I had dragged onto this computer, unfortunately. But this is still pretty heavy, so yeah, go check it out. Alright, next up we've got Blade and Sorcery, another popular VR game. So I'm not going to show a ton of this because, you know, it kind of speaks for itself once you see a little bit of it for the frame rates. But it's a fun game, and it runs. Last but not least, let's look at VR Chat. One of the most popular VR games, but also one of possibly the most demanding, depending on what kind of situation you're in. So, to account for that, we're going to look at both a public world and a regular, just solo world. So, in our public world, we're getting around, you know, maybe 20 or 30 FPS, which isn't great, but and this is also with pretty strict shield settings. I had the shield settings set to only show users and above, and users and above only had the fallback shader. They didn't have their default shaders enabled. They didn't have custom animations or anything like that, because realistically, with the video card that we had, we just couldn't run anything better than that. But that's actually not too uncommon an experience to have. So, you know, that being said, it still looks better than Quest to me. But, you know, you're still running that risk of your low frame rates. I'd say, personally, I think it's fine. But, you know, that's up to you in the end of the day. But we are also going to go ahead, and next up, we're going to check out a private world. Just, you know, regular, just the simple fishing world here on VR Chat. And we'll see how that looks. And after loading in, we can see that it actually looks pretty good. And our frame rates aren't that bad either. We're getting somewhere in the neighborhood of, you know, between 40 and 50 FPS. This was recorded, by the way, while the Halloween stuff was still active. I recorded this quite some time ago, and never got around to editing it until now. But yeah, that's what it looks like here. And so we're just gonna go ahead, we're gonna, you know, try and catch a fish. So yeah, for the price of a Quest 3S, you can build a halfways decent PCVR setup if you're willing to give up a little bit of image clarity, since, you know, the CV1 doesn't have the greatest image quality. Also, unfortunately, this was recorded before the RAM shortage happened, and now the price of RAM and pre-built computers has gone up significantly. But if you can still find deals like this, I am telling you, it is a great gateway into PCVR. And if you made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching. I really enjoyed making this one. And if you enjoyed and would like to potentially see content like this in the future, no promises, you should like this video and subscribe to my channel. It would mean the world to me. Thank you. Have a very good day or night, whatever time it is for you. Bye.